People say the truth always comes out, but nobody tells you how terrifying it is when the truth hides in a place so small, so ordinary, like a man's left pocket. And on a cold night in downtown Ravenport, when a trembling girl whispered those 5 words to the city's most feared mafia boss, check his left pocket, everything the underworld thought they knew shattered. Because what they found wasn't just evidence. It was betrayal. And the kind that rips families, loyalty, and entire empires apart. But to understand why that pocket mattered, you have to start at the beginning. Raina Malik had spent most of her 17 years trying not to be seen. Life had taught her that being small, quiet, unnoticed was safer. Her father had disappeared 2 years ago, leaving her with a lifetime supply of debts and a reputation nobody wanted. She worked double shifts at the Harbor Line diner, saving every possible rupee to pay off men who had long stopped believing her promises. Still, she endured. Still, she hoped. For Raina, the mafia was a shadow she avoided. But one night, fate didn't ask her permission. The diner was closing when a man stumbled in, beaten, bleeding, barely breathing. His coat was torn, and he clutched a leather briefcase as if his life depended on it. Raina recognized him instantly, Marco Venturi, right-hand advisor to Adrian Moretti, the cold, controlled, feared king of Ravenport's criminal empire. Everyone knew Marco. Everyone also knew that if he was here, something terrible had happened. Raina rushed toward him, unable to stop herself. Marco tried to speak, but blood soaked his collar. He reached for her wrist, squeezing with whatever strength he had left. His voice cracked, desperate, scared in a way that shook her to the bone. Find Adrian, he rasped. Tell him, left pocket, don't trust. But the sentence never finished. His body slumped, the diner falling into a silence so sharp it hurt. Raina's hands trembled uncontrollably. She didn't want to get involved, but she couldn't ignore a dying man's final plea. So she called the only number she had ever hoped never to dial, the emergency line connected directly to Moretti's security network, posted on back alleys as an unspoken warning: if you see something involving us, report it. If you don't, you won't live long enough to regret the silence. 20 minutes later, the diner door burst open. Men in black suits spread through the place, but the air changed when Adrian Moretti himself stepped inside. Tall, crisp, dead calm eyes that missed nothing. A presence that made the room colder. Raina expected anger. Instead, he walked straight to Marco's body with a heavy stillness she didn't understand. His jaw clenched, but his face remained unreadable. You called this in? Adrian asked quietly, turning to her. Raina nodded. He came in, like this. He tried to tell me something. I think it was important. What did he say? She swallowed hard. Every instinct screamed stay quiet. But fear of lying to a man like Adrian was far worse. He said, check his left pocket. The room froze. Adrian's eyes locked onto hers, sharp and searching. Then he slowly knelt beside Marco, reached toward the torn coat, but stopped, almost as if he feared what he might find. When he slipped his hand inside the left pocket, his expression didn't change, but something in the air did. A cold, invisible tension spread through the diner. He pulled out a small, thin device wrapped in tape. A recording chip. Raina didn't know what it meant. But Adrian did. And the way his shoulders stiffened said everything. Whatever was on that chip was worse than anyone in that room wanted to believe. He looked at Raina again, but this time his gaze wasn't cold. It was calculating. You're coming with me, he said. Before she could protest, his men surrounded her. And the quiet life she once lived was gone, replaced by a night that would change everything, for her, for Adrian, and for an empire built on unbreakable loyalty. Raina hadn't realized how large Adrian Moretti's world was until she saw it from the inside. His headquarters, a renovated warehouse overlooking the freezing harbor, pulsed with shadows, men, and secrets. The moment she stepped in, she wanted nothing more than to disappear. But Adrian never left her side. They brought the recording chip to a secure room. Adrian gave a nod, and one of his tech men inserted it into a decoder. The screen flickered. Raina watched Adrian's jaw tighten, the only sign of emotion he allowed himself. Then the audio began to play. At first there was static. Then voices. Familiar ones. Tonight's the night. Moretti won't see it coming. That fool thinks we serve him. Let the Russians take him out. We'll step over his body. Raina didn't recognize them, but Adrian did. She saw it in his eyes. Marco hadn't been attacked by rivals. He'd been attacked by traitors, people Adrian had trusted with his life. The recording grew worse. Plant the evidence in Marco's coat. make Moretti believe he leaked it. When he turns on his own men, Ravenport falls apart. Reyna's breath caught. They had framed the very men who died trying to protect Adrian. Suddenly Adrian stepped back, one hand covering his mouth. For the first time, he didn't look like an untouchable mafia king. He looked like a man stabbed in the back by the people he'd built an empire with, but then his expression hardened. He turned to Reyna. "Did anyone else hear Marco?" he asked. "No," she whispered. "Good." His voice turned cold again. "If they know what he told you, you won't live through the night." Reyna felt a chill race down her spine. "I didn't ask for any of this," she said, her voice breaking slightly. Adrian stared at her for several seconds, and something in his eyes softened, a flicker of humanity she didn't expect to see. "No," he replied. "But Marco trusted you. And now you're part of this, whether you want it or not." Fear wrapped around her lungs, but beneath it, something else grew: determination. She couldn't undo Marco's death, but maybe she could help stop the betrayal he died trying to expose. "What happens now?" she asked. Adrian turned toward the doorway, his voice low, steady, and dangerous. "Now," he said, "we finish what Marco started. We uncover every traitor. And you stay alive long enough to see how deep this goes." Reyna didn't know it yet, but this night, this one impossible night, would drag her into a world of danger, loyalty, and secrets she never imagined. And the truth hiding in that left pocket would become the spark that ignited a war inside the Moretti Empire, because betrayal wasn't the worst part. What lay ahead was far darker.